Hey guys, Water Elemental here. Just got back from a special demo of Kaijudo, Rise of the Duel Masters. Went to my local card shop here in Colorado, Mirage Games, and they had a bunch of these starter decks. And what we did was we opened one up and we started playing it to test it and demo it with other people. And it's very, very off balance from what I can say. It is the demo decks. Right now, you only can buy the starter decks. From what I know of, their site only has the demo decks, so it's very limited at this point. It's just so people know how to play. But the first thing I really got to gripe about is when we open the box, the instructions were really thin. You know when you open up like a starter deck or something like that, you get like a little pamphlet about like that big and stuff like that. It was a sheet of paper. The instructions was just a sheet of paper in a starter deck. And we had to go online to their Wikipedia page and read pretty much how someone else summarized how to play the game. We opened it up, it just showed us how to set up the game, and it's like, have at it. So that was our first gripe with this. So we were sitting there for 20 minutes trying to research on how to play the starter deck, which is supposed to teach you how to play. So we open it up, and the first thing I gotta say is their starter decks are really nice. They come with two really nice 60 card boxes that can hold up to 60 cards. It can even hold up Magic. And it's really nice cardboard, very nice print on the front and back, nice designs on it. On the inside, there's a holographic picture. And if I can find a picture of it, I'll show you. But unfortunately, we weren't able to buy any yet. They wouldn't let us at the time. And so we're kind of playing this off to the side and stuff. So really nice. If anything, I might pick up one of those starter decks, sell off the cards on the inside, and then just get some of those cases, because the cases are really nice, very sturdy, held with magnets, which was really cool. We didn't expect that, especially for a starter deck, to come with such nice cardboard containers. And so it comes with two 40-card decks and two special starter deck cards. And from what I know is those starter deck cards will not be printed after this starter deck is released, so those might become very valuable if the game picks up. But I really doubt it. They're starter deck cards. It's like the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Everybody has one. So we sat down and we began playing, and it resembles a lot of Duel Masters, the old card game that had the cartoon on Cartoon Network. But this one is based on a card game on the Hub, apparently, from what the box says. And I watched the first episode. It's got some kind of cool animations. It's about a kid named Ray, and it has a lot of elements of both Magi Nation and Duel Masters. People have gloves, and they summon people from another dimension, and this and that. But the gameplay is almost identical to Duel Masters, if you've ever played it. All the cards can be used for mana, depending on the color of the faction, which there's 5 different factions, and I'll get into that in a minute here. But each card can be used for mana, so if you have like 2 or 3 of the same card in your hand, you can put one down, tap it, use it to play 1-cost card or 2-cost card. There are 5 factions in the game. There are blue, which is like the water, green, which is like the nature, red is like aggressive, fiery beasts, purple is like dark, puppeteering, and skeletons, and there wasn't a white deck. So that's going to be like the 5th holy deck that you're going to have to work really hard to build. But I have no idea what the names are. Again, in the instructions, they didn't say anything. So it's all up in the air unless you watch the show, which probably not. So you have your mana. You can play down one of the 5 colors. When you first start the game out, you put your top 5 cards into your shield zone, which is the same as Duel Masters, where you have your 5 shields, and your opponent has to break all 5 of them. And if they do, you lose the game, or if you break your opponent, you win the game. And at this point, I kind of noticed a flaw. The same flaw that was in Duel Masters is overrun. If you can get more creatures out, no matter what the cost of them, you're going to beat your opponent. And the main reason I say that is because not every creature can stop other creatures from attacking, like in Magic the Gathering or in other card games. Unless that creature has a blocker ability, which are really rare because only one of the 2 starter decks has them, you're gonna be just going full-blown offensive on both teams and erasing your opponent. Yes, there's spells and stuff like that, but a lot of the spells say return to your hand or not really killing them. I'm sorry, banishing. Banishing is essentially sent to the graveyard. And it's just going to be this war of attrition. Now, if you play more defensively, it's a major advantage against your opponent because your opponent is essentially being blocked and killing your creatures off. So not only are you defending yourself from your shields, but you're going to be killing their creatures if you're doing it right. So you're getting a double advantage against your opponent. Now, certain decks want to be more aggressive, and that's fine. But it's just, what are you supposed to do? We played with these two decks, and the superior one was the blue-black, which had the blockers in it. And that red-green deck, the one with very aggressive creatures, wasn't winning as much. So if you're playing the blue-black deck, you had a serious advantage. Not only did you have the blockers, but you had cards that would kill off untapped creatures. And the red deck had kill spells too, but they weren't just as potent. And being offensive means that you don't want to put too much power in spells like bringing cards back in your hand, because they're going to be coming back out. So you're going to be trying to put out as many creatures as you can. And that just kind of, I don't know what to say. It just felt very off balance. Now, these are just the starter decks, and there's nothing else. I'm judging it purely on this. Now, someone said that there is an online code system where you can put in codes and you get random cards and stuff, and you can play with their decks online. And I haven't tried that out yet. I mainly just came back and I wanted to talk about what I had while it's still fresh in my mind. But it's so Duel Masters. It's the same problems. A lot of the functions that came throughout the years of Duel Masters being in play, like all the different mechanics, all that stuff, were put in the starter, so they're already in the game. So they're starting out where Duel Masters left off with a new franchise to try to bring it back. But it's just much the same. I really was hoping for a new card game that would be very, very good and a lot of skill base involved into it. But from what I can see right now, it's pretty much whoever has, if you can get a slight advantage off your opponent, and most decks are going to be built around either knocking your opponent down just long enough for you to get enough blockers, or getting enough blockers and then killing all your monsters and having one or two cards that can attack. But it's just, it's hard to explain. Playing so many different card games, I can always find some good parts in it, and the good part was actually the packaging and the stuff like that. And I really hope that more can come out with this game, because right now it's unbalanced. You're gonna be off the bat playing a very defensive deck against everybody else's offensive deck, because the game's built around being very offensive, taking out the shields. But if you're defensive, you get better benefits for it, and that's very bad. Now, I will come back to it. I'll do a full review of it when it comes out, and I'll give my thoughts about that when I'm actually able to see more of the cards and actually get better understanding it when more people play, because it is becoming very popular. A lot of people have been asking for it, and it does have a show, so it's going to have the Mommy I Want effect, where it's on TV, it's got a card game, Mommy I Want. So it's got that combination of Yu-Gi-Oh marketing with the style of Magic the Gathering. Luckily, the show's not on huge. It's on the hub, and it's a cable show, so it's not going to be as big as Yu-Gi-Oh, where it was like on Saturday morning cartoons on Kids WB. But I don't know. I hope for the best. Right now, it's at a very, very rough spot, and the starter decks are not promising, at the least. Now, there was one thing else I saw on there. It kind of had a chuckle at this. Is the online codes? It's one of 9. You don't get to pick what code it is, so you have to buy more to get all 9 of the promo codes per set, because I know it's probably going to be per set. I wasn't able to actually put them in online because I couldn't find it at the time, and it's pretty much you get to play it online with their test decks, and it's a lot of the promoting decks and stuff like that, which is to probably check out. But it's probably going to be the starters, from what I know. Just, this is boring me. This game bores me, people. But let me know what you guys think, if you guys have a different experience. But right now, that's what I see out of it. I'm giving it a benefit of the doubt because you cannot customize those decks right now. And a lot of starter decks have one deck better than the other. But it was very off balance. Like, you had the blue-purple blocker deck with a lot of kill spells in it. And then you had the aggressive deck over here, when it should be about equal, depending on what your draws are. But it's hard to say at this point. Yeah, I'll probably check it out. The packs come out apparently in November, so I'll hit it up and do official top deck on it. Give it my seal of disapproval or approval, which one that is. So let me guys know what you think. If you guys check that out, if you can find any more info, I'm going to try and get my best. Kind of, if anything, I'm going to MS Paint draw you what kind of the board looks like and stuff like that, because I couldn't literally. They wouldn't let me take anything yet. We had a representative from UDE there, or not UDE, but Wizards of the Coast, saying you can play it, but you're not allowed to buy anything yet. This is just for store owners to practice with it. So hopefully it's good. Kaijudo, Duel of the Masters, Kaijudo, Rise of the Duel Masters. Yeah.